Good evening and welcome inside Route 66 Stadium in Joliet, Illinois, home of the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints. A little late getting started today, but we are underway. St. Francis against Indiana University South Bend. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Terry Bonadonna on the call for all 9 innings of tonight's action. Game 1 of a 3-game series between the Fighting Saints and the Titans. And right now, nobody on, 1 out, top of the first inning, IUSB at bat, and it is the right fielder Jose Sanchez doing the honors as he flips one down the left field line, foul and out of play. Sanchez, the number 2 hitter for IUSB. He follows Colin Mack, the shortstop who grounded out to the pitcher to get things started today. Rest of the lineup for IUSB features Spencer McCool hitting third and playing center field as that ball misses outside. Devon Connors hits cleanup. Connors is at third base. It's Jordan Moore doing the catching. TJ D. Herrera bats sixth and plays first. Matt Miller, the number 7 batter, plays left field. Called strike 3, 2 down. Jose Sanchez goes down looking for the second out of the first inning. A hot start for the Fighting Saints pitcher, Angel Sandoval. Tell you more about him in just a moment. First, the rest of the IUSB lineup. The number 8 batter is second baseman Max Walls, and hitting ninth is the designated hitter Chase Cameron. For the Fighting Saints, it's Travis Schoonover leading off and playing right field. Dustin Krobes at at shortstop. Joe McGuire bats third, the DH. Hitting cleanup is first baseman Anthony Farron. Jake Lasota plays left field. Jonathan Wolf bats sixth at third base. Johnny Peterson is at second. Adam Cebulka hits eighth and does the catching. And batting ninth, center fielder Bailey Schultz. As you've already heard, the starting pitcher today is Angel Sandoval. Sophomore from St. Lawrence High School, off to a good start as he has recorded 2 quick outs, a ground out and a strikeout. And now the 1-1 pitch to McCool is a called strike. The count goes into the pitcher's favor, 1-2. Angel Sandoval is starting for the 4th time this year. He's looking for his first victory of the year. 1-2. Swung on, popped up down the right field line, shallow. Travis Schoonover comes in and over towards the line to make the catch and end the inning. Hot start for Sandoval. 1-2-3 go the Titans in the first. We'll head to the bottom of the inning. No score. Bottom of the first inning, and the Fighting Saints get to bat for the first time. It's Travis Schoonover, Dustin Krob, and Joe McGuire. Farron, Lasota, Wolf, Peterson, Cebulka, and Schultz hit 4 through 9, and they're going up against a starting pitcher for Indiana University South Bend by the name of Troy Cullen. Left-hander, number 32, stands atop the mound and readies himself for the first pitch to fellow lefty Travis Schoonover, and it's popped foul out of play over the screen for strike 1. Troy Cullen on the season, like Angel Sandoval of St. Francis, looking for his first victory of the year, but he has been one of IUSB's best pitchers so far. 0-4 with a 6.48 ERA in 4 appearances, including 3 starts. There's a swing and a miss. The count is 0-2. In 16 2/3 innings, Cullen has allowed 19 runs. Only 12 of them have been earned. 31 hits. He has struck out 9, walked 6, and the black mark on his stat line so far this season, a 4.08 opponent's batting average. Schoonover hits him to the shortstop on a bounce. It's bobbled by Colin Mack, and Schoonover is safe at first. The leadoff man reaches for the Fighting Saints on an infield single. Solid contact from Schoonover. It was a tough play for Colin Mack with the way that the ball sort of knuckled towards him. He had to play it on the backhand with a short hop. A difficult play for any shortstop, and Mack was not quite able to pull it in. So the first man reaches. It's another hit allowed, number 32 in just over 16 innings pitched for the young left-hander for IUSB. And he attacks Dustin Krob, who takes ball one outside. No score, bottom of the first inning. Very good start for Angel Sandoval, the starting pitcher for St. Francis. Cullen not able to match him early on, but there's a ground ball to third base. Could be two. There's one force. Max Wallace over to first, and it is a double play. 5-4-3. Two men retired on just one pitch from Troy Cullen, and now the bases are empty. Well, unlike Sandoval, Cullen had to deal with a base runner in his half of the first inning, but like Sandoval, Cullen's got a chance to face the minimum in his first frame on the mound. Last man standing in his way is Joe McGuire. McGuire, the designated hitter in today's game for St. Francis, swinging the bat well, .313 average. He's one of three Fighting Saints with an average above 300 so far this year, and he takes a ball outside on the first pitch. McGuire's got a homer. He's second on the ball club with 10 RBIs, also second with a .500 slugging percentage. So he's hit the ball for some pretty good power so far this year. This time not very hard hit, but it rolls between the first and second basemen and out into shallow right field, and McGuire has a base hit. Third man up for St. Francis, second single, so they're finding their way on base early on in this one despite a double play. McGuire's aboard, a man on first, two outs, bottom of the first inning for the red-hot Anthony Farron. McGuire hit that ball well out of the reach of the first baseman, T.J.D. Herrera. Max Wallace went into the shallow outfield grass to make a sliding play. Ball doesn't scoot very well on this turf, so it makes more balls playable for infielders. Walls was able to slide and stop it, but not able to make the play cleanly, and even if he had, he would not have had enough time to get McGuire at first base. So here's Anthony Farron taking ball one outside. Farron, one of the hotter hitters in the country right now at .432 with his average. He's got 3 doubles and 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, and there's a power hack fouled off to the right side. The count is 1-1. St. Francis is trying to strike first in this game as they look to win their third consecutive. They're off to a hot start to conference play, which began earlier this week here at home against Calumet St. Joseph. Farron swings and lifts it foul to the right, again out of play. The count is 1-2, and Cullen is 1 strike away from ending the inning. Not a big strikeout pitcher, Troy Cullen. He came into play today with only 9 of them in 16 2/3 innings. So despite being ahead of Farron, this battle is a long way from over. Runner at first, 2 down. The 1-2 offering. Ground ball weakly hit to the right side, picked up by the second baseman Walls. His throw to first is in time to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and a man left on first base. We go to the second, scoreless. One inning down, 8 to go, and nothing but zeros on the board so far, at least in the runs column. Actually, on the scoreboard, there's technically nothing but zeros. The scoreboard is not operational today. There have been 2 hits in the ball game, both procured by St. Francis in the first inning, no runs. That's now IUSB gets their second chance to bat. Angel Sandoval's first pitch of the inning is tapped foul for strike 1 on Devon Connors. Connors, the third baseman for the Titans, hitting .261 in 15 starts. He's got 1 home run, 7 RBIs. That 1 home run is one of only 2 that the team has hit so far this year. Not a lot of power early on in the season from either side, just 6 combined home runs between them. As that ball misses inside for a ball, the count is 1-1. Angel Sandoval off to a strong start in this game for St. Francis. He's 0-3 with a .665 ERA on the season in 4 appearances, including 3 starts, as that ball is flown out to right field. Taking a step back is Schoonover. He makes the grab for out number 1. Back-to-back flyouts to right, induced by Sandoval going back to last inning. 4 up, 4 down against the sophomore hurler. And here's Jordan Moore. Sandoval entering play today had thrown 21 2/3 innings, allowing 17 runs, 16 of them earned on 24 hits, 14 strikeouts, 9 walks. He's allowed an opponent's average of .279. Moore, the right-handed hitting catcher, takes ball 1 from Sandoval. Angel Sandoval's got some good numbers despite a lofty ERA, well over 6. 21 2/3 innings that he's pitched entering play, second on the team. 2 of his 3 games started have gone for complete games. Strike over the inside corner, 1-1. So he's good for a nice long effort when Brian Mahalik needs him to have one. Today might be one of those days with a busy schedule coming up over the next week. Ball 2. The count goes to 2-1. Game today, 2 games tomorrow, and 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Thursday, 2 next Saturday, 1 next Sunday. So in the span of just 9 days, more games than days of the week. Ball 3 low on Moore. The count now 3-1. TJ Herrera stands in the on-deck circle. 1 out, nobody on in the top of the second inning. Pitch from Sandoval is swung on and flown down the right field line. Long run back for Schoonover, and he can't get there. It drops off the edge of the warning track, and 1 hops the wall. Heading to second base is Moore. He makes it in standing up with a 1-out double. First base run of the game for IUSB comes with 1 out in the second inning. Nice piece of hitting there for Moore going the other way. 327 feet down the right field line, and that ball landed right at the very beginning of the warning track, so he missed it by a good 10 feet or so. He departs for a courtesy runner. 1 out, 1 on for Herrera. For Jordan Moore, that's the 4th double of the season. He's got nearly a third of the team's 2 baggers. They entered play today with just 14 of them as a team through 17 games, and 9 of those 14 came from 3 guys, Spencer McCool, Jordan Moore, and TJ Herrera had 3 apiece coming in, but now Moore is up to 4. And Herrera is the batter. He's a left-handed hitter. First baseman for the Titans takes a ball low and away from Sandoval. TJ Herrera bats at a .244 clip. As I mentioned, he's got 3 doubles, no triples or home runs. He does lead the squad with 8 runs batted in. He swings here and pops it up, foul to the left side. Jonathan Wolf chases it towards the seats and stops at the edge of the seats as the ball sails well out of play. The count is 1-1. IUSB has the game's first runner in scoring position. St. Francis had a pair of hits in the bottom of the first, but with a double play sandwiched in between them, they were not able to get any runners past first base. Jordan Moore's been able to do that himself with a 1-out double here in the top of the second. Herrera stands in. Sandoval sets for the 1-1. Ball 2 outside. 2-1 the count. Matt Miller waits on deck. IUSB has struggled with the bats so far this year, hitting just .217 as a team entering play. Their team record just 1-16. Trying to snap out of it today as the pickoff throw goes to second, but Jordan Moore dives back to the bag pretty easily. Still 2-1 on D. Herrera. Sandoval gets the sign in from Adam Cebulka. Hitters count. Pitch is fouled back. And now it's a pitcher's count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. IUSB 1-16 on the season, but they have not yet had an opportunity in conference play. There have been only 2 conference games so far this year around the CCAC, or I should say 4 total. A couple of doubleheaders. Swung on and missed, strike 3. D. Herrera goes down swinging. 2 down in the second, 2 strikeouts in the game now for Sandoval. And it's up to Matt Miller to try to get this runner home from second base. Again, South Bend not hitting the ball very well, just .217 at the start of play, a .262 slugging percentage. So Jordan Moore's double earlier this inning was a little bit out of the ordinary. And now they need something else out of the ordinary. They need one of their guys lower in the batting order to come up with a clutch hit as Miller backs out of the way of ball 1. Matt Miller's a 147 hitter. No RBIs yet this year. He does have 1 double. The count is 1-0. And now it's 2-0 as Miller takes one inside. Moore doubled with 1 out. D. Herrera struck out in a big moment for Angel Sandoval. And now he's ready for the 2-0. But he won't make the delivery yet. He steps off the rubber and looks Moore back to second base, or rather the courtesy runner back to second. Didn't get a number on that courtesy runner, but it's not Moore running at the moment. Now the 2-0 pitch. Nope, now another throw to second. And you got the runner back in safely. 2 outs in the inning. The only out that Sandoval still needs to get is the man in the batter's box, but he's more focused at the moment on the runner at second base. 2-0, and now to the plate. It's a little bit high for a ball. The count goes to 3-0. And now Sandoval is in just a little bit of trouble. Doesn't want to see Max Walls come up this inning. He may not have a choice. The count is 3-0. And he pumps one in for a strike. That brings the pitcher's side back into this at-bat. 3-1 the count. Runner at second base with 2 outs. Could be a big moment depending on how the rest of this game goes. 3-1 offering. Ripped out to left field and caught by the third baseman Jonathan Wolf on a jump. He caught it about eye level, so he probably could have caught it without jumping and just reaching his glove up. But it was a hot smash hit to him, and so he had to react quickly. Jumped up, made the grab, and ended the inning. Despite a 1-out double, IUSB does not score in the second. Let's go to the bottom of the inning. Tied at 0. Jake Lasota leads off the bottom of the second inning for the Fighting Saints. St. Francis and Indiana South Bend scoreless thus far. First pitch is popped up by Lesota. Foul territory, right side on the infield, looks to be in play. And the catch is made at first base by T.J. D. Herrera. One pitch, one out in the bottom half of the second. And that'll bring up Jonathan Wolf. Not the start to the inning that the Fighting Saints were hoping for as they send their 5, 6, and 7 men up, but still plenty of time to get to Troy Cullen here. Cullen pretty sharp in the first inning. He did give up 2 hits. One of them stayed on the infield, and one of them just barely trickled out to the outfield. So it's not as though he was getting crushed in that 2-hit inning. He also got a double play, so the Saints never really threatened. Jonathan Wolf takes strike one. Saints third baseman swings on 0-1 and taps it foul to the left. That brings the count to 0-2. St. Francis entered today's game with a 6-11 record. Both teams entered with 17 games played. Wolf takes outside, 1-2. At this stage of the season, it seems like every team has played a vastly different number of games just because you never know which games you're going to be able to play and which ones you aren't early on in the collegiate baseball season. Ball outside, 2-2. There are so many rainouts or snowouts, really, more than anything, or just general cold outs early in the year. St. Francis having this artificial turf field is a big difference maker as there's a soft liner into center field, a base hit for Jonathan Wolf. Third hit of the game for the Saints. They've got a one-out man aboard. When you got an artificial field like this one, it can rain all day, it could snow all day. As long as that stuff is clear by the time the game is scheduled to start, there will be a game. Field didn't require a lot of energy and effort to get ready for the season. As soon as that snow was gone, everybody was ready to go. Swing and a miss from John Peterson for strike one. As opposed to a grass field, in which case you're still trying to get that grass to come back to life right now. It's still cold outside. Ball up and away. It's 1-1. First day of spring is still a little less than a week away. Temperatures are winter-esque outside. Upper 30s, low 40s throughout today's game. There's a swing and a miss with the runner on the move. Throw down to second, skips out to center field. It's a stolen base for Jonathan Wolf. The count is 1-2 on Peterson. Looked like a hit and run that didn't quite pan out. The hit wasn't there, the run was, as Wolf was able to steal second cleanly. But an awkward cut from Peterson as he just tried to put the bat on the ball. He was unsuccessful and turned out to be the better for it because now he's got a man at second base with only one out and a chance to drive him in. Pitcher steps off the rubber. We'll go through the motions again here before the 1-2 offering to Peterson. 3 RBIs so far on the year. Swung on and flown out to right field. Not terribly deep. Playable for Jose Sanchez, who makes the grab. Back to second base to tag is Jonathan Wolf, but he makes no effort to get to third. He stops there. And there's a man on second with 2 outs for Adam Cebulka. Cebulka is St. Francis's catcher. Hitting .154. He's got 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. The double would give him a 3rd RBI right here. No score in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch to Cebulka is a wild swing and miss. Strike one. Wolf singled with 1 out in the inning. He stole second. Still stands there right now. The 0-1. Outside for a ball. Count goes even on Cebulka. These two teams are playing just a single game today. Originally scheduled for 5:30. It didn't actually start until a little bit after 6:30. There's a high school event on the field earlier. There's a high fly out to right field, fairly deep but playable for Sanchez, who drifts back and puts away Adam Cebulka and ends the second inning. 1 hit but no runs, no errors, and a man left. We go to the third. 0-0. Max Walls stands in the batter's box as we start the top of the third inning. No score, St. Francis and South Bend. First pitch of the inning from Angel Sandoval is flown out to left center field. Two outfielders converge, and Bailey Schultz, the center fielder, makes the grab. One pitch, one out in the top of the third for Sandoval. So the bottom of the second and the top of the third begin the same way with a first pitch out. Both starting pitchers, I'm sure, appreciative of that. It is a 9-inning game here, game 1 of the 3-game series. Sandoval fires up high for ball 1, missing on Chase Cameron. Cameron getting his first at-bat of the game, the number 9 hitter and DH. Here's the 1-0. There's a swing and a fly out to right field, foul and out of play. It's 1-1. Today's game is 9 innings. We'll have a 9-inning game tomorrow as well, and also a 7-inning game. Doubleheader tomorrow afternoon. 7-inning game will come first. There's a called strike on Chase Cameron. The count is 1-2. Upon the conclusion of this at-bat, we're back to the top of the order. Sandoval looking to get to Mack with 2 outs and nobody on. And he does just that as he induces a swing from Cameron. He can't connect. Strikeout number 3 for Angel Sandoval. He's got 1 in each inning thus far. 2 quick outs in the third, and that sends us back to the top of the order and shortstop Colin Mack. Mack tapped out to the pitcher in his first at-bat. And this time he takes strike 1. Colin Mack is hitting .225 this year. He's got 1 run batted in. Not too many occasions for RBIs as he slices this one out to right center field, a base hit. Solid single for Mack that time. Runner on first base, 2 outs for Jose Sanchez. I was about to say not a lot of occasions for RBIs so far this year for Mack because the bottom of the order is not getting on base all that much. The top of the order is not really getting on base that much either. Mack hitting just .225. He has walked a fair number of times, 5 of them. So a .311 on base percentage for him. Sanchez takes ball 1 high. But Jose Sanchez is the first of a run of really solid hitters for IUSB, and this is not the part of the lineup that Sandoval wants to face with men on. There's a fly ball down the left field line. If it's fair, it could be trouble for the Saints, but it's not. It's just foul by a foot or a foot and a half or so. Long run for Jake Lesota. It wasn't quite able to get there. Just out of his reach and just wide of the line. And the Saints are able to wipe the sweat off their foreheads and go back to work. 1-1 is the count. 2 outs and a man on first. No score. We're in the top of the third inning. Jose Sanchez is batting .300 this year. And then the next couple of guys, Spencer McCool is a .386 hitter. Jordan Moore, who is 3 batters from now, batting .350 for the year. Chopper down the third base line. That's foul. It's 1-2. It's probably not breaking any big news to say that the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters for IUSB are their best part of the lineup. That's generally the case with any team, so you never want to face any heart of the order with men on base. But with IUSB, the peripherals in the lineup have really not done well. They're hitting just over the Mendoza line as a team. Ball in the dirt. Good block there by Cebulka. It's 2-2. When you have a number of struggling hitters on the team you're facing, the number one thing you want to do is mow down those guys who have been struggling and go up against the tough guys with nobody on. Don't give them any more opportunities than they earn for themselves. There's a looper into left field, and it'll drop for a hit. Dropping just in front of Jake Lesota, back-to-back singles. And there are 2 on with 2 out. Well, IUSB has certainly earned their base runners this inning on Mack and Sanchez's solid base knocks. Now it's up to Spencer McCool to get at least one of these runs in. McCool has not homered this year, but he has 14 singles and 3 doubles. With 3 RBIs, he is a .386 hitter. And he's 0 for 1 in this game with a fly out to right field. Popped up foul behind the home plate screen. Strike 1 on McCool. No score in the third. 3 hits now in the game for IUSB. St. Francis has got 3 of their own in just 2 innings of work. Next pitch is swung at and missed for strike 2. Sandoval is in the driver's seat. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. One more good pitch, and he could head back to the dugout. One mistake, and we could be looking at our first lead of the game belonging to IUSB. No score right now in the third. Sandoval steps off the rubber. Still nothing in 2. McCool digs in. Righty to righty. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning. 4th of the game for Sandoval, and he pitches his way out of a 3rd inning jam. We go to the bottom of the frame. No score. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning, and neither team has a run yet. The Saints will try to change that with Bailey Schultz, Travis Schoonover, and Dustin Krob due up. There's a called strike over the outside corner on Schultz to get us started. Bailey Schultz, the center fielder for the Fighting Saints in today's game. Hitting 125 for the season. He's 3 for 24. He swings and misses, and he's in a quick 0-2 hole. The Saints have 3 hits so far, as do the Titans. There's a grounder down the third base line, and just foul. Still 0-2. 2 singles in the first and 1 in the second for St. Francis. IUSB has gotten a couple of men into scoring position with a double in the second inning. Back-to-back 2-out hits in the top of the third, but Sandoval struck out McCool to end that threat. Ball up and in on Schultz, who has to back out of the way of it. It's 1-2. St. Francis is trying to start this weekend off right and pick up their 3rd consecutive win. Ball just off the outside corner, 2-2. They're the only 2-0 team in conference right now, which means they get to sit at the top of the standings, but it doesn't mean much else. The reason nobody else is 2-0 is because most other teams haven't even played a game yet. Popped up on the infield. Should be playable for any number of guys, and a catch is made by the third baseman, Devin Connors, for out number 1. That ball was played right behind the pitcher's mound. Could have been the second baseman, could have been the shortstop, could have been the third baseman, and ultimately Connors is the one who made the grab. Three straight retired and 5 of the last 6. But before Travis Schoonover comes up, Troy Cullen calls everybody in for a conference. The entire infield out there, along with the catcher and head coach of the Indiana South Bend Titans. I guess discussing strategy for the second time through the batting order. Although it is an odd time for a conference considering, number 1, he just got the last guy out. Number 2, he just was in the dugout a few pitches ago between innings. I think they would have come up with the game plan then, but I'm not sure. Something else may have been on Cullen's mind. He had to talk over. 1 out, nobody on. Schoonover is 1 for 1 with a first inning single. And here he takes ball 1 outside. Travis Schoonover performing awfully well at the plate so far this season. The leadoff man is a .314 batter. At the start of play today, that went up a little bit with his first inning infield single, and it could go up if this one gets over the head of the center fielder. Backing up, Spencer McCool does make the catch, and Schoonover is retired for out number 2. He put a good charge into that ball, not carrying all that well in the cold air tonight. Wind blowing softly in. McCool got a good jump on that ball and was able to track it down relatively easily despite the strong contact from the St. Francis Jr. Here's Dustin Crowe, 0 for 1. He grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the first inning. And he takes a ball outside for a 1-0 count. If Crowe is retired here, it'll be the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for Troy Cullen. Ball high, 2-0. 4 straight now retired by Cullen. Junior pitcher from Griffith, Indiana. There's a high pop fly, shallow left center field. McCool, the center fielder, calls for it and makes the catch. The inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Fighting Saints. Now 5 in a row sat down. And 7 out of 10 by the right-hander, or the left-hander rather, for IUSB. We head to the 4th inning. St. Francis and Indiana South Bend are scoreless. 3 innings down, 6 to go here in Joliet with no score. Indiana South Bend visiting St. Francis for the first of 3 games this weekend. Connors, Moore, and D. Herrera due up for the Titans in the 4th against the sophomore hurler, Angel Sandoval, who's been very sharp so far tonight. His first pitch of this inning misses low and in, ball 1 on the third baseman, Devin Connors. Connors is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field in the 2nd inning. He takes a strike over the inside corner, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Sandoval looked very sharp to begin the ball game. Recorded 4 outs without allowing a base runner. Ball low, 2-1. And the first time through the batting order, he retired 8 of the 9 Titan hitters. Only Jordan Moore, the catcher, put a good swing on him with a double. Chopper third base side foul, 2-2. Second time through the batting order didn't start quite as well for Sandoval. Back-to-back singles were hit by Colin Mack and Jose Sanchez, but Sandoval pitched out of the jam, and now here he is with a fresh start in the 4th and a 2-2 count on Devin Connors, who swings through strike 3. Good looking off-speed pitch right there. Connors well off balance, and he is the 5th strikeout victim of Angel Sandoval today. He got 1 in each of the first 2 innings, and now his last 3 outs have all been recorded on strikes. Sandoval entered play today with 14 strikeouts and 21 2/3 innings pitched. Well above that pace today. Jordan Moore takes a powerful hack and fouls it back for strike 1. Moore, the right-handed hitting catcher, smacked one almost to the right field wall in his first at-bat. He hit it off the warning track in right field, so he took it the other way. A powerful swing from Moore. Trying for more of the same right there, but he was not able to make solid contact. It's a first pitch strike and an 0-1 count on Moore. Sandoval's next toss. Too far inside this time. It's 1-1. Scoreless in the top of the 4th inning. A good pitcher's duel early on, but we've got a long way to go between 2 pitchers who are looking for their first win of the year. Fouled off the screen to the right side, 1-2. Jordan Moore continues to swing for the fences. A powerful cut for the IUSB catcher. Moore, a junior from Flat Rock, Michigan, hitting .350 coming into today's game. One of the few guys on this squad who has shown good pop from the bat early on this year. He bounces one foul to the left side, still 1-2. Again, as a ball club, they're batting just .217. They have only 3 players batting .300 or better, and that includes Jordan Moore. They've got just 2 home runs through 17-plus games this year. Strike 3 called. A fastball paints the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sandoval. His last 4 outs now have been recorded on strikeouts. And the last time he faced TJ D. Herrera, he sent him down swinging. He'll get another chance right here. 6 strikeouts in the game for Sandoval. That was the 2nd time he has gotten a Titan hitter looking. First pitch called strike on D. Herrera. DJ D. Herrera at .244 at the start of today's game. Lefty first baseman. The 0-1 misses for a ball. It's 1-1. Should D. Herrera reach, Matt Miller would bat next. Should he not reach, we're back to St. Francis in the bottom of the 4th. Swing and a miss from D. Herrera. The count is 1-2. Sandoval looking to strike out the side. His last 4 outs have been recorded on strikes, including 3 consecutive hitters. The 1-2 to D. Herrera. Popped up foul and out of play. He stays alive for at least one more pitch. Sandoval has been very impressive so far this evening. Trying to keep it going through this 4th inning. Righty versus lefty. The 1-2. Just off the outside corner. Good patience from D. Herrera. The count comes even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still a favorable pitcher's count here. Sandoval to put him away. Hard grounder, right side, and out of the reach of a diving Anthony Fair, and out to right field. 2-out single for TJ Herrera. Second consecutive inning that's happened to St. Francis. On the verge of getting off the field, a 2-out base hit. Last time around, IUSB came up with 2-out hits. Singles from Mack and Sanchez. Getting close to the bottom of the order here. They can't really risk that happening again. Well, they'd rather not, I should say. Matt Miller comes up, takes a ball outside. Miller's 0 for 1. He hit the ball hard his first time up, but on a line it was right to third baseman Jonathan Wolf, who was able to make the catch. 1-0. Up high, ball 2. Sandoval struck out the first 2 batters of this inning, now struggling a little bit to get out of it. He allowed the single to Herrera, now 2-0 on Matt Miller. He's just looking for that one good pitch that will get him back to the dugout. Bring that offense up to try to get on the board for the first time. We have no score here in the 4th. Sandoval and Adam Cebulka have a little meeting on the mound before the catcher heads back to his position behind home plate. Max Walls is now the potential next hitter. Two 2-0 on Miller. After Cebulka goes back to the catcher's box, Sandoval stares in at him for another good long while. Next pitch misses high. That's ball 3. Sandoval hasn't walked anybody yet today, in danger of changing that right now. He's only had 1 prior 3-ball count. Actually make that 2 prior 3-ball counts. One of them was to Miller back in the 2nd inning, who lined out. The other was to Jordan Moore right before he doubled. There's a called strike, 3-1. 2 outs and a man at first for the Titans. Not a huge scoring threat at the moment. That allows Sandoval to focus all of his attention on the man in the batter's box. But it's ball 4, low and away. And I can say with certainty that is the first time today that he's thrown 4 balls to any hitter. It's a 2-out walk, and for the 2nd straight inning, back-to-back 2-out base runners. Here's Max Walls, 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field. That was leading off the 3rd inning. A bit more of a pressure-filled situation here. Ground ball left side. It squirts through for a base hit. Herrera is being waved around third base. Coming up throwing, Lesota is cut off. It's an RBI single for Max Walls, and IUSB is on the board. All of it coming with 2 outs. A single, a walk, and a single. Matt Miller stopped at 2nd on the play, so once again we've got runners at 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. And in the meantime for Max Walls, that is RBI number 1 this season. It's only his 2nd hit. He's now 2 for 14. Bottom of the order now, the number 9 hitter is Chase Cameron. Cameron takes a big whiff for strike 1. Walls is at 1st, Miller's at 2nd. 1 run is in for Indiana South Bend. Called strike 2 on Chase Cameron. He's in a quick 0-2 hole. Sandoval looking for that elusive 3rd out. Can he finally get it right here? Not on this pitch. Fouled back. Still 0-2. South Bend entering play today was averaging about 2.5 runs per game. Not a very good offensive team. But they've got the early lead on St. Francis today as Cameron chases one up and away for strike 3. 3rd strikeout of the inning for Sandoval. It's his 7th of the game. but IUSB does their damage. They score first with a single, a walk, and another single, all with 2 outs in the inning. On our way to the bottom of the 4th, it's 1-0 South Bend. A 2-out RBI single from Max Walls as IUSB on the board, and now the Saints with the middle of their order will try to get on the board themselves, tie it up, maybe take the lead here in the 4th as Joe McGuire takes strike 1 from Troy Cullen. Cullen's been good so far, 3 innings in. He's not allowed a run, just 3 hits, all of them singles, and he's currently retired 5 consecutive batters. Joe McGuire is always a tough out, though. He's 1 for 1 in today's game with a single. And he takes a breaker over the inside corner for strike 2 here. 0-2 the count. It's McGuire, Farron, and Lasota scheduled to bat. Cullen looking for his first strikeout of the game. He's got McGuire in an 0-2 hole. Ground ball right side and out of the reach of the diving Walls. A base hit for McGuire. Sharply hit grounder that time. He's now 2 for 2 in the game. And both of his hits went to the same spot, just to the left of Max Walls, to his left. To our right, as far as Max Walls is concerned. I'm not sure if any of that made sense. Stage left is where that ball was hit to Max Walls. Hit a little bit harder than last time, though. Anthony Farron takes a ball outside. Last time McGuire reached on a single, Walls actually stopped the ball out in shallow right field but didn't have a play. That time he had to dive for it. And again, not able to make the play, but that would have been a very difficult play for anybody. Anthony Farron is 0 for 1. He grounded out to second base in the first inning, but he's been the Saints' best hitter this year and already has made some noise here on the home schedule. As he takes a strike over the inside corner. The count is 1-1. Farron's got 2 of the team's 4 homers this year. One of them came earlier this week. Helped the Saints to a 9-4 victory in Game 1 of a doubleheader against Calumet St. Joseph on Wednesday. Didn't start Game 2 of that twin build, but he did come on as a pinch hitter late and get intentionally walked. There's a weak roller to the right side. Tough play for Walls, who charges gloves, flips underhand to first, not in time. It's a base hit for Farron. Back-to-back singles lead off the inning for St. Francis, and they're finding the right spots on the field right now. McGuire's was hit hard. Farron's was not. Just a little roller, and Walls made the play about as efficiently as he could, which is to say not efficiently enough to get the out. So for the first time today, the Saints have multiple base runners simultaneously, and Jake Lasota's got a chance to bring home the first run of the game for the Saints. Lasota, a .250 hitter in 8 starts coming into play today. He's 0 for 1 with a pop out to first base when he led off the bottom of the second inning. Titans are waiting for a bunt here. First baseman T.J. D. Herrera is way in at the grass, such as it is here in the artificial turf. Long pause atop the mound from Cullen. Now he's set. First pitch to Lesota, not quite yet. Cullen seems like he's trying to discern whether or not this batter is going to be dropping a bunt down. Spun around to face second there, throwing Lesota out of his rhythm, but he did not square up on that feigned pickoff attempt. He does square up here and drops it down the third base line. Great bunt and no chance to get anybody. It's an infield single for Jake Lesota, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. McGuire up to third base. Farron cruises into second. Lesota at first base. Couldn't have rolled it out there any better. The first baseman, D. Herrera, was way in at first, but the third baseman, Devin Connors, was playing about a step behind the bag at third. And it was far too late for him to react to it once that bunt was dropped down as well as it was. Here's Jonathan Wolf with the bags full and a chance to get the Saints on the scoreboard for the first time. Wolf takes ball one. 1 for 1 today with a single and a stolen base. That's his offensive stat line. From the stretch, Cullen is always from the stretch. Steps off the rubber as Wolf steps out of the batter's box. Cullen delaying a little bit too long between pitches. IUSB just scored for the first time in the top half of this inning. St. Francis trying to match their run. Wolf sends one high and deep out to left field. That sends Miller back to the warning track. Miller's still going. It's gone. And a grand slam for Jonathan Wolf gives St. Francis a 4-1 lead. The first big hit for a Fighting Saint today. They've been dinking and dunking them all over the field. They had 6 hits in 3+ innings, but they were all singles, including a couple of infield hits this inning. But Jonathan Wolf got all of it. Ball's not carrying all that well tonight, but he didn't need any help from the elements on that ball. It was crushed. Jonathan Wolf hits his first home run of the year. He drives in runs number 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's 4-1 St. Francis, and here is Johnny Peterson taking ball one. Up high on Peterson, 2-0. Big hit right there for the Fighting Saints, who didn't seem to have much going offensively over the first 3 innings. Ball up and in, 3-0 on Peterson. Cullen is a guy who gives up a lot of hits, and we've been seeing it here in the fourth. Entered play, averaging almost 2 hits allowed per inning pitched. Ball 4 inside. It's a 4-pitch walk, and Peterson takes his base. 5 consecutive base runners open up this inning for the Fighting Saints. That's the first walk issued today by Troy Cullen. Now he'll face the number 8 hitter, Adam Cebulka. Cebulka swings the first pitch, pops it foul to the right side and out of play just over the first base dugout. Jordan Moore gave it a look, ultimately ran out of room. Troy Cullen, despite all the hits he's allowed this year, not a huge walks pitcher. That was just his 7th issued this season in 20 innings pitched. 0-1 on Cebulka. He squares up to bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes a ball inside. 1-1. Trying to get Peterson over to second base with Bailey Schultz due up next. And then the top of the order to follow him. Cebulka is the 6th hitter of the inning, and still nobody is out. Hot smash up the middle. That's a base hit. Over second base and out to center field. Peterson advances to second base on Cebulka's single. And now the bats are really starting to come out for the Saints. First and second. Nobody out in the fourth. It's Bailey Schultz's turn. That ball was scalded out to center field. And that forces a meeting on the mound. You look at Troy Cullen's stat line coming into play today, and you can see he gives up a ton of base runners. His ERA well over 6, though he has pitched well at times for Indiana South Bend. It's the second best ERA among any of their starting pitchers. I'm sure we'll see Sam Libby in one of the 2 games tomorrow. Libby's been their ace so far this season with an ERA under 4. But the way that Cullen pitched the first 3 innings, it seemed like he was maybe starting to turn a corner in this season. That's turned on its face, though, again here in this 4th inning, as St. Francis has already scored 4 runs. They've got 2 on base with nobody out. Jonathan Wolf's grand slam is the big knock of the inning, but everybody's getting theirs for the Fighting Saints here in the 4th. Bailey Schultz is 0 for 1. He bunts third base side, and it trickles foul. This is the exact same situation St. Francis was in a few moments ago. Runners at first and second, nobody out. In that scenario, Brian Mahalik elected to have Jake Lesota drop down a bunt. It worked out beautifully as he reached on an infield single. And now this time around, seems like he's got the same plans. First and second, nobody out. He's got Bailey Schultz bunting. And the corner infielders are both in. Again, the first baseman, D. Herrera, way in on the grass. Devin Connors a little bit closer than he was when Lesota was batting. He's about 1 step onto the grass in front of third base. Here's the bunt from Schultz, and it hits off his foot in the batter's box. Strike 2. The big difference between this spot and the one that Lesota was in a few minutes ago is that now the Saints are up by 3. At the time that Lesota came to bat, they had been trailing by a run. With 2 strikes, the infielders back up a little bit, still a little further in than their normal spots. The 0-2 to Schultz, not bunting. He strikes out swinging. It's always tough to be put in a situation where you're trying to get a bunt down when you're unsuccessful on 2 straight. You have to swing away, but you're already in an 0-2 hole at the time you're allowed to take your first swing. So a tough spot for a hitter to be in, but it is a spot of his own making. If Schultz had been able to get the bunt down on either of the first 2 pitches, of course he wouldn't have been in the 0-2 hole. He is the first out of the inning. He is the first strikeout victim of Troy Cullen today, and we're at the top of the order. Travis Schoonover bats for the 3rd time and slaps a base hit into right field. Around third base comes Peterson. He will score without a throw. Going to third base, Cebulka. The ball was bobbled out and right by Jose Sanchez. Peterson was rounding third even before the bobble. If Sanchez had come up cleanly with that ball, maybe he would have had a play at the plate, but no chance to get Peterson after the bobble, and that may have allowed Cebulka to make it into third base more easily as well. The single for Schoonover is his 2nd of the game. It makes it 5-1 in favor of St. Francis, and still only 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Schoonover's now got 6 RBIs for the year. Here's Dustin Krob, 0 for 2. He's grounded out and flown out. Runners at the corners for him, 1 down. He takes ball 1 high. Krob hit into a 5-4-3 double play back in the 1st inning. Cullen trying to get out of a rally the same way here in the 4th with an inning ender. He could use it badly right now. A little bit of action down in the right field bullpen as Krob fouls it off to the right side. The count is 1-1. There's a right-hander loosening up for IUSB. Haven't gotten a good view of his number just yet, but I'll let you know once I ascertain the name of that pitcher. The 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Runner goes from first. The throw goes down to second base, and now runner from third is going to try to score. The throw home, not in time. Cebulka takes home, and with nobody covering third, Schoonover moves into third base. 6-1 St. Francis. Cebulka looked like he was getting ready to catch himself up in a rundown as the throw was cut off by the shortstop Colin Mack, but the throw home was still not nearly in time to catch Cebulka coming down the line. So he steals home. Schoonover steals 2 bases on the play, one of them officially, the other one on the throw home. But now he's at third base, the infield in at all 4 positions with a 1-2 count on Krob. There's a smack into center field and another base hit. Travis Schoonover comes in to score. It's 7-1 St. Francis. What a fourth inning here. All of the damage has been done here in the fourth. And it looks like that'll be all for Troy Cullen. Cullen was sharp through 3, not so much in the fourth, as the Saints have already batted around and picked up 7 hits and a walk. 8 of 9 men have reached base so far this inning. And as the 10th batter of the inning gets set to come up against a new pitcher, it's 7-1 St. Francis with only 1 out. I'll take a quick break. Back with the information on the new guy in just a few moments. The submarine tosser John Ward is the new pitcher for Indiana South Bend. Ward is on for the 7th time. No record, a 6.43 ERA. In 7 innings, he's allowed 6 runs, 5 of them earned on 12 hits, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's allowed a 364 opponent's batting average. He comes in with a man at first base and 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning with St. Francis leading 7-1. All 7 runs have come in this 4th inning. Troy Cullen's day is done after 3 1/3, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, 9 hits allowed. Actually, I take that back. 10 hits allowed. Joe McGuire takes ball 1 outside. McGuire led off this inning. He singled and later came in to score on Jonathan Wolf's grand slam. 3 straight singles and then the long ball. That's how all the fun got started this inning. Then a walk, a single, another single, and another single by McGuire. Lined out to left field. It bounces in front of Matt Miller. That's the 3rd consecutive St. Francis hit, as they keep on going against Ward at the same pace they were on against Troy Cullen. 11th hit of the game for St. Francis. Here's Anthony Farron. The most dangerous slugger on the ball club is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. An infield hit earlier this inning on a little roller to the right side. Max Walls made a good play on it, just couldn't get there quickly enough. They're at 1st and 2nd right now as Farron takes strike 1 over the inside corner. It's weird how this inning started. Soft hits, a little infield roller hit by Farron, and then Jake Lesota reached on a butt hit when he was looking for a sacrifice. Next toss to Farron, comes in behind him, nearly hit him. It kicks off the glove of Jordan Moore and rolls to the backstop. The wild pitch advances both runners. McGuire is at second base, Krob's at third, and that means no force play at either of those bases anymore. It was weird that Cullen was pitching well. Even the hits that he was giving up seemed more like bad luck than anything. And then after that grand slam, the floodgates just opened. He couldn't close them again. 1-1. Farron hits it out to right center field. Long run over on that one for Sanchez, and he can't get there. Took an awkward angle, so it rolls past him all the way to the wall. 2 runs have scored on the play as Farron pulls up at second base. It's a 2 RBI double for Anthony Farron. The Saints lead 9-1. 9 hits in the inning now for St. Francis. This has been an incredible inning. 9 runs, 9 hits. 1 walk, and still only 1 out. Here's Jake Lasota. His bunt single earlier in this 4th inning. One of the biggest hits so far. It loaded up the bases in front of Wolf. He hits a sharp grounder just past a diving Colin Mack up the middle. Farron holds at third. They're at the corners, but another hit for St. Francis. 5 in a row. So Lasota's got 2 hits in the inning. A little bunt hit I mentioned before, and now a solid, hard-hit ground ball. Here's Wolf. Wolf, the hero of the hour so far. Singled in the second. That was last hour. I think it was over an hour ago. This hour, he's got 4 RBIs, all on a home run. So he's 2 for 2. He's got a chance to drive in a few more runs here with men at the corners and only 1 down. Called strike 1 on Jonathan Wolf. 5 consecutive hits for St. Francis. 10 hits overall in the inning. 7 of them came off of Troy Cullen. 3 since John Ward came in. Here's the 0-1. Ball low and outside. It's 1-1. Start of conference play for IUSB. They were leading 1-0 coming into this inning. Suffice to say, they're not leading anymore. For St. Francis, it's the 3rd conference game. Not too many teams in the CCAC right now have records that they'd like. Only Olivet Nazarene, in fact, is over 500. Ball low and outside on Wolf, 2-1. And there's a wild pickoff attempt out to right field. Farron comes in to score. Heading to second base is Lasota. It's 10-1, St. Francis. It's tough to see plays like that in an inning like this when everything is going St. Francis's way. They're getting hit after hit. They're earning these runs. You hate to see a mistake like that from Indiana South Bend compound their problems, but that's exactly what just happened. An error. Count is 2-1 on Wolf. Ward sets and delivers. Fouled off by Wolf. 2-2. I think it's always tough, and I mentioned this on the game broadcast the other day. It's always tough to be a Midwest team early in the year. You can't play too many games at home. It's too cold. So there's a lot of traveling, a lot of games piled on top of one another. So oftentimes the records aren't that good at the start of conference play, and that's the case for both of these teams. Wolf takes one inside and off of his leg. So he's hit by the pitch. He takes first base. And there are 2 on once again. That snaps the string of 5 consecutive hits, but now 6 consecutive base runners for the Fighting Saints. Here's John Peterson. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. That walk, of course, and the run came this inning. All of the runs have been this inning. 10 of them so far, with a chance for a couple of more from one swing of Peterson's bat. It's a little blooper out to right side. Foul territory, but playable for the first baseman, D. Herrera, who makes the grab. 2 away. A big second out for IUSB. That snaps a string of 6 consecutive men reaching base. Adam Cebulka is the 15th batter of the inning. Cebulka is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. 2 on, 2 out. Ward trying to get out of this inning finally. There's a swing and a high foul off to the right side towards the seats and just out of play, out of the reach of T.J. D. Herrera, the first baseman, who went beyond the dugout railing, leaned over, and just barely couldn't make the grab, a couple of feet out of his reach. Strike one on Cebulka. 10-1 St. Francis. All of the runs, including IUSB's, have come here in the fourth. Here's the 0-1. Cebulka takes a strike. St. Francis entered conference play with a 4-11 record. Indiana South Bend has done so at 1-16. Maybe there's not much you can glean from non-conference games, but a disappointing start for South Bend, considering they won just 8 games a year ago. They, were happy to get off to a fresh start, looking to turn the page on that season. They've got a long way to go to get back in the saddle here this year. Ball low and away. It's 1-2 on Cebulka. Bailey Schultz, Travis Schoonover, Dustin Kroeb are the only 3 Saints not to have hit twice so far this inning. Here comes the 1-2. Lined up the middle. That's a base hit. Rounding third base is Jake Lasota. He scores. The throw comes into third base. It's not in time, and as the throw goes to third, Cebulka takes second. Second base hit of the inning for Adam Cebulka. They were nearly identical. Sharp line drives to center field. And this one an RBI. So a 10-run lead now for the Fighting Saints. And South Bend just needs to get out of this inning. They got off to a strong start in this game. So it's not as though these pitchers are incapable of getting outs. Sometimes when things start to go wrong, they just go wrong in a hurry. Case in point, a wild pitch. Wolf scores. It's 12-1. Wolf crosses the plate. Cebulka to third base. 1-0 on Bailey Schultz. Schultz struck out swinging earlier this inning, and even though the Saints have already gotten more than they need this inning offensively, Schultz does not want to be the guy to end it. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. You hate to ever be the guy to make 2 outs in 1 inning. So a big at-bat for Schultz, at least personally speaking. He is the 16th man to bat in the 4th inning. Ball low, 2-1. Saints were down 1-0 entering the bottom of the 4th. Titans have used 2 pitchers this inning. Schultz drives it out to left field. That drops in for a hit. Cebulka scores. Schultz around first base, a hard turn, but he decides to stay there. It's the first hit of the game for Bailey Schultz, an RBI, his first of the year. It's 13-1 St. Francis. And my scorecard is going to be screwed up forever. Looks like John Ward's day is done. Ward faced 7 batters, was only able to retire 1 of them, and we'll see a third pitcher here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I'll tell you about him in just a moment. Saints lead 13-1. Man on first, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. We'll be back. The new pitcher for IUSB is Max Govert as he faces the top of the St. Francis order. Runner on first, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning, 13 runs are in. Fouled straight back by Schoonover for strike 1. Schoonover's 2 for 3 in the game. He's got an RBI single this inning. Man at first base is Bailey Schultz. Govert sets for the 0-1. Popped foul and out of play. It's 0-2. Govert has been the top reliever for South Bend this year in 5 appearances. He has no record and a 1.59 ERA in 5 2/3 innings. He's allowed 10 runs, but only 1 of them earned on 6 hits. 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, a 2.73 average against him. The 0-2. Ground ball to second base. Max Walls down to one knee, fields it, throws to first, and ends the inning. And finally, the 4th comes to an end. St. Francis scores 13 runs in the inning. On 12 hits, a walk, a hit by pitch, they leave 1. We head to the 5th. It's 13-1. Fighting Saints on top. Top of the 5th inning, it's 13-1. St. Francis leads Indiana South Bend. Strike called on Colin Mack as the next pitch comes in for a called strike 2. In the lineup, the next toss from Angel Sandoval is popped up. Foul ball, right side, playable. Catch is made by Farron. 1 down in the 5th. Good start to this inning for Sandoval. You never know how a pitcher is going to respond to a long layoff, and he was off for about 40 minutes there as St. Francis put together one of the great offensive innings I've ever seen. 13 runs, 12 hits against 3 different pitchers. They sent 17 men to the plate. Jose Sanchez, it's a chopper up the middle, out over second base. Backhanded stop by the second baseman, John Peterson, but no play. Wasn't able to field the ball cleanly. It ticked off the edge of his glove and rolled out to shallow center field. Didn't have a play regardless. It's an infield hit for Sanchez and a 1-out single. Man aboard now for IUSB. Believe it or not, last time they were at the plate, Indiana South Bend had the lead. They scored a run on an RBI single from Max Walls with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. And then all hell broke loose in the bottom of the inning. Ball high, 1-0 on Spencer McCool. St. Francis's bottom of the 4th inning featured 12 hits. 11 of them were singles. The only one that wasn't was a biggie, a 4-run homer hit by Jonathan Wolf after the first 3 men of the inning all reached on singles. Wolf came up with that big blow to left field, his first home run of the year, and that was all she wrote for IUSB because St. Francis didn't stop after that point. There's a fly ball to right field. Schoonover, a little bit of a late break on it, but he's able to get to the spot to make the catch for out number 2. Sanchez returns to first base. And the batter is Devin Connors. Connors is 0 for 2. He has flown out and struck out. Sandoval, coming into this inning, had recorded 5 consecutive outs on strikes. There were some base runners thrown in there as well, but the last 5 outs had all struck out. Not this inning, a pop out and now a fly out to right field as Steven Connors takes ball 1. 1-0, runner at first, 2 outs, 12-run lead for St. Francis. Fouled back off the screen. 1-1. Sandoval has not had a 1-2-3 inning since the first, but he has only given up a run in the 4th inning. There's a ball high, 2-1. In fact, Sandoval did not allow any base runners in the 1st inning. He gave up 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th. Logic would tell you that Titans will get 4 base runners this inning. Sandoval has always been an illogical sort, though, as he takes, or he fires, I should say, a ball high, 3-1. Jordan Moore waits on deck. Most of the Titans' base runners today have come with 2 outs. 5 of their 7. Strike called over the inside corner. The count goes full. Sanchez will be on the move from first base on this 3-2 pitch. Sandoval 1 strike away from a scoreless top half of the 5th. Payoff pitch. Fouled away. Well, it was a strike of sorts, but he's not out of the inning. He'll have to do it again. Quick glance at the runner at first base, and now the pitcher turns his attention back to home plate. 3-2 count. Swung on, grounded to third base. That's foul. And it's still 3-2. Connors will see an 8th pitch in this at-bat. The first 3 batters of the inning saw 6 total. And now Connors will see at least 8. Good fight. Not giving up despite the deficit up on the scoreboard. Another 3-2. Ground ball to the shortstop. Played by Krob. The throw to first is a little bit low, but Farron's able to pull it up and record the out to end the inning. 6-3 put out. And the Titans don't score in the 5th. On our way to the bottom of the inning, it's 13-1, St. Francis. Two, 3, and 4 up for St. Francis in the 6th inning. Krob, McGuire, Farron facing Max Govert, who came in last inning and got the final out. He fires strike 1 on Krob. Each pitcher last inning recorded 1 out. Big difference, Govert didn't allow any base runners. Ball low and away, 1-1. The starter, Troy Cullen, who pretty much cruised through 3 innings, got the first out. Also allowed 8 base runners, though, in his appearance that inning. There's a sharp line drive to left field and a base hit for Krob. He's 2 for 4. Saints have 16 hits now in 4+ innings. The second pitcher last inning was John Ward. And Ward didn't fare a whole lot better than his predecessor did. He faced 7 batters, 6 of them reached, and he got 1 out as well. Govert retired the only man he faced in the 4th, but he's allowed a hit to the only man he's faced here in the 5th inning. Here's Joe McGuire. McGuire is 3 for 3, all singles. He has scored twice, and he takes a ball low. Bottom of the 5th inning, St. Francis has a big lead. All 13 of their runs came in the 4th. Off the outside corner from Govert, 2-0. Anthony Farron on deck, and then, barring a double play, Jake Lasota. The heart of the St. Francis order due up here, and these are the guys who got things rolling in the 4th inning. It was McGuire's single leading off the inning that got the ball rolling, and then he scored the first run as well as he takes a strike here. The count is 2-1. Scored the first run on Wolf's grand slam, so 4 men scored on 1 play, but he just happened to be the first across the plate. He was standing at third for that homer. Ball high, 3-1. Govert has walked 3 in 6 innings this year. Trying to avoid that here, but doesn't want to give McGuire anything too hittable either on 3 balls and 1 strike. There's strike 2 called. It's full. Runner at first base is Dustin Krob. Solid single out to left field for him. Amazingly, the Saints have 16 hits today. 15 of them are singles. No doubles, no triples. They've hit 1 home run as a team. The runner moves on 3-2. The ball is popped up foul, and it does get out of play. Along the first base line, just behind the Titans' dugout. That ball landed a few rows up. It's still 3-2 on McGuire. Joe McGuire, a .313 hitter coming into play today and going up. Payoff pitch, lined into right field, a base hit. Krob was not running with that pitch as he had been on the previous 3-2 offering, so he advances only 1 base, pulls up at second. Back-to-back singles begin the 5th for the Fighting Saints. And that brings up Anthony Farron. Amazingly, St. Francis, entering Wednesday's doubleheader against Calumet College of St. Joseph, was hitting only .218 as a team. They had a big offensive day on Wednesday, scoring 14 runs in 17 innings. And they were able to lift that batting average all the way up to .232. It's going to go up a pretty good distance further than that today. First pitch swinging, Farron lifts it foul and into the seats. Strike 1. Now 17 hits in the game for St. Francis. 16 of them are singles. So their slugging percentage won't get as big a boost as their batting average will, but they just keep things moving. Single after single after single after single. You string them all together, you don't need any extra base hits. Farron takes the ball outside, and the count evens up 1-1. Another left-hander warming up in the bullpen for IUSB. They've used Cullen, Ward, and Govert so far. Max Govert, so far in this 5th inning, not as sharp as he typically is. Came in with a 1.59 ERA. Ball high, 2-1. Granted, some of the peripheral numbers were not quite as dominant as that earned run average, but still, by leaps and bounds, he has been statistically the best relief pitcher on the team this year. There's a fly ball into right center field, slicing into the gap, and it splits right in center field. Coming in to score is Krob. Hot on his heels is Joe McGuire. The throw comes home. McGuire slides in safely. Farron all the way to third base on a 2-run triple. 15-1, St. Francis. And the fifth inning has not looked so different from the fourth so far. Fourth RBI of the game for Farron, who's got 3 hits now. Here's Jake Lasota. Actually, I should correct something as far as Farron goes. He did double his last time up. So I said before, all but one of their hits have been singles. The correct answer was all of 2 of their hits had been singles. Now it's all but 3. And in a normal game, 3 extra base hits would be a pretty high number. But when you have 18 total, you'd expect a few more. They haven't needed any more. The batter is Lasota. The runner is not Farron. They've pinch run for him. Looks like Sean Harper has come on to run at third base. Nobody out. 2 runs in so far in this 5th inning for St. Francis. Jake Lasota takes ball 1 inside. Lasota is 2 for 3. His bunt single in the 4th inning was one of the key moments as part of their 13-run rally. He pops this ball up foul to the right side. It's out of play. Count is 1-1. 3 up, 3 on for the Saints in this 5th inning. Single, single, triple. Infield stays back with the runner at third base in a blowout game. Called strike on Lasota. It's 1-2. Jonathan Wolf, who has not yet been retired today, waits in the on-deck circle. There's a ground ball towards third base. It's foul. Still 1-2. Despite the huge lead, the Saints are not slowing down, keeping the pressure on this Titans ball club. They'll play 2 more games against one another tomorrow. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout for Govert. Second strikeout of the game for IUSB's pitching staff. 1 down in the inning. And the batter is Jonathan Wolf. I'm sure that if Brian Mahalik had his druthers, he'd take these 15 runs they've got right now and spread them out among the 3 games. I think 15 runs would be plenty to sweep this 3-game series, but it doesn't quite work that way. So the Titans will get a fresh opportunity, 2 fresh opportunities tomorrow to win a game or maybe more. Wolf swings through the first pitch for strike 1. He doesn't need a hit here, which would be his 3rd of the game, in order to score the runner from third. With only 1 out in the infield back, pretty much any contact will do it. Not able to make contact, though, on that swing. It's strike 2. Govert, not a big strikeout pitcher, but he's trying for back-to-back Ks right here. The 0-2 offering. Fouled off to the right side and on the hands of Wolf. That can't have felt too good on a cold night like this. A stinger in on the hands, but he stays alive with a no ball and 2 strike count. Another 0-2. Upstairs, ball 1. John Peterson waits on deck. Still only 1 out in the inning. 2 runs are in the 5th. Blooper left side and playable for the shortstop. Colin Mack takes 1 step back and makes the catch. Well, I said pretty much any contact would get the run in. That's about the only contact that wouldn't. An infield pop. And that's exactly what Govert got. Big out for him. 2 down in the inning. And here's John Peterson. Junior infielder is 0 for 2. He's walked and scored a run. He takes ball 1. After back-to-back singles from Crobin, McGuire opened the inning. Anthony Farron tripled them both home. There's a fly ball down the right field line. Shallow, tough play for the right fielder coming in, diving into foul territory. Sanchez can't pull it in. A valiant effort. He comes up just short, and the count goes to 1-1 strike. The inning goes on. After Farron's triple, he stood at third with nobody out. Harper came on as a pinch runner. Harper still stands at third now with 2 outs as Govert trying to take the small victories here in the 5th inning of a 14-run game. Get out of a jam here. Ball outside. Hitters count now 2-1. Still early enough that, of course, IUSB doesn't want to count themselves out, but it's not looking good for him. Inside, I think that grazed him. It did. Got him on the arm. Well, maybe a little bit more than a grazing, but it did skip past him after deflecting off the upper arm. So Peterson heads to first base. It's the second batter for the Saints who has been hit by a pitch today. They're at the corners for Adam Cebulka. And Cebulka will apparently face a new pitcher. 4th one of the game. Govert has been the sharpest in the last couple of innings that we've seen. He got 2 outs, but he's also allowed 4 base runners this inning. And so after 1 inning of work, Govert's day is done. A call to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 5th, 15-1. St. Francis leads. Back with more in a moment. Marty Ewing is the new pitcher for IUSB. They trail St. Francis 15-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Saints have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Adam Cebulka, who's swung a hot bat so far today, bats against Ewing, who's making his first appearance out of the bullpen. The freshman has started 3 games. He's 0-2 with a 7.71 ERA. Left-handed pitcher delivers the first pitch low for ball 1 on Cebulka. Ewing on the season has thrown 9 1/3 innings. He's allowed 9 runs, 8 of them earned on 14 hits, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. Opponents have hit .326 against him. Ball low, 2-0. It's a very cold night by baseball standards, not necessarily by Chicago weather standards, but to be playing baseball in, it's tough for these players out there, and usually tougher to hit as Cebulka has none of that axiom. Grounded out to left field, another base hit. His 3rd of the game and an RBI as 1 more run crosses the plate. 16-1 St. Francis. On the play, Harper, the pinch runner, scores. Peterson advances to second base. Cebulka at first. And the inning continues for Bailey Schultz. Well, they say it's easier to pitch than to hit, or I should say harder to hit than to pitch. It's hard to do either on a cold night like tonight, and for IUSB, who's just been standing out on the field for so long, that whole team has got to be frozen up at this point. Strike 1 over the inside corner on Bailey Schultz. Schultz is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Everybody in the lineup has a hit today, at least one for St. Francis. They've got 19 hits in total, including 4 this inning, including 12 last inning. Ball 1 on Schultz to even the count. 16-1, the Fighting Saints have a huge lead on Indiana South Bend. Game 1 of a 3-game series, originally scheduled to be played at Indiana South Bend today. Schultz fouls it back. Strike 2. It was rescheduled earlier in the week, moved here. Tomorrow's doubleheader was always scheduled to be played here and still is. This game was delayed further tonight. It was supposed to start at 5:30, and the game that was on this field earlier in the afternoon went a little bit long, so we didn't get this one started until after 6:30. Schultz takes the ball. It's 2-2. Nearly 2 hours into the action now, or in the bottom of the 5th inning. And St. Francis has enjoyed it, regardless of the weather, regardless of the late start. I think the Saints are happy with how this has gone. It's been a productive evening for them. Rolled foul by Schultz to the first base side, still 2-2. Cebulka at first, Peterson at second. 2-2 on Bailey Schultz, the center fielder. Outside, ball 3, the count goes full. You heard it when I read the stats on Marty Ewing. His problem this year has been walks. 6 of them in only 9 innings. Trying to avoid his first free pass in today's appearance. He does, but it's no better as it's a line shot to left field. A base hit for Schultz. Around third, Peterson will score. An RBI single for Schultz, his second in as many innings. It's 17-1. Cebulka stopped at second on the play. And we're back to the top of the order, and Travis Schoonover. So everybody has hit this inning. 17 batters came to the plate in the 4th, 9 more here in the 5th. And there's a line drive to right field from Schoonover, just out of the reach of the diving glove of T.J. D. Herrera. Here comes Cebulka in to score. It's 18-1. An RBI hit for Schoonover. That's his 3rd hit and 2nd RBI of the game. Schultz all the way to 3rd base on the play. They're at the corners now with 2 down for Dustin Krob. Krob singled to lead off this inning. He's 2 for 4. He takes ball 1 high. Indiana South Bend scored 1 in the top of the 4th to take the lead. Since then, St. Francis has put up 18 unanswered. Ball 2 on Krob, 2-0. Indiana South Bend's got another right-hander warming up in the bullpen, but they don't want to have to run through their entire pitching staff today with 2 more games coming up tomorrow. Ball low, 3-0. They need to find somebody who can get an out here. Ball 4 inside. It's a 4-pitch walk, and so far Ewing has not been the guy to get an out. He's faced 4 batters, and all of them have reached against him. Here's McGuire batting for the 2nd time this inning. He hit twice last inning and now twice this inning, just like Krob before him. And unlike Krob, McGuire will not get the chance to bat a 2nd time this inning. Josh Tesh has just come off the bench. So Tesh, a pinch hitter here in the 5th inning. (18-1) St. Francis. They've got 21 hits in the game. Josh Tesh, an infielder, batting for the first time today. He swings and misses for strike 1. Tesh has started 9 games this year. .241 average. He's got 7 runs scored, 5 RBIs. He has homered once. He takes a strike over the inside corner. The count is 0-2. Marty Ewing trying to get out of the inning that was started by Max Govert. Govert let the first 3 men reach on hits, but then he got 2 straight outs before a hit batter chased him from the game. Ball high, 1-2. I'm sure part of the reason Govert was taken out was because he was struggling. Part of it probably was he had thrown a lot of pitches. He's usually a 1-inning man in relief. There's a high pop-up left side of the infield, playable for Colin Mack. The shortstop makes the grab, and the Saints leave him loaded in the 5th, but they also score 5 times. They end up with 6 hits in the inning. And as we head to the 6th inning, it's 18-1 St. Francis. It's the top of the 6th inning. St. Francis has a 17-run lead as Jordan Moore leads things off and takes ball 1. Moore is 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout against Angel Sandoval in today's game. And there's a pop foul off to the right side. That makes the count 1-1. Saints trailed 1-0. They scored 13 runs in the bottom of the 4th, 5 more in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ball inside. It's 2-1. A couple of defensive changes for St. Francis. They had to make them. They made a few substitutions last inning with Sean Harper pinch running for Anthony Farron. Harper has stayed in the game. He's playing left field. Ground ball right side, picked up by the new first baseman. Flipped over to Sandoval covering the bag. 3-1 on the putout. 1 down. They jumped the gun with that ground ball there. I was just about to tell you who's playing first. It's the old left fielder. Jake Lasota moved to first base from left field. Lasota had been playing left. He's at first base now, where Anthony Farron was playing prior to his removal from the game. So those are your changes. Harper stays in to play left. Lasota from left to first. And Lasota already in on the action at first base, as he was on the assisting end of that 3-1 ground out. Here's TJ De Herrera. De Herrera is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Takes a wild cut and misses for strike 1. Check that. This is not Herrera in the batter's box. Number 45. Oh, there's a pinch hitter. Is that Herrera? Ball high. Count is 1-1. I think it is TJ De Herrera, just wearing a different uniform number. Foul tipped on that one, right in the catcher's glove. Strike 2. Count now 1-2. 1 out, nobody on in the top of the 6th inning. St. Francis, prior to sweeping a doubleheader this past Wednesday, had not won back-to-back games this year. And now they're on the verge of winning their 3rd straight. Called strike 3. Sandoval picks up another K. This one goes in the scorecard backwards for out number 2 in the 6th inning. 8 strikeouts in the game now for the sophomore hurler. Here's Matt Miller. Miller is 0 for 1. Hit the ball hard, but lined to third in the 2nd inning. He walked his last time up. And he takes strike 1. Well, as much as you like to get wins anytime you can get them, you really want to start beefing up on that record when you hit conference play. Ball inside, 1-1. And so far, that's exactly what St. Francis has done. They struggled through non-conference play, but they seem to be hitting their stride at just the right time now. Ball outside, 2-1. I guess you could say just the right time would be about May-ish once you get to the conference tournament, but this is a good time to start to turn that corner and continue going down the same path as we get closer to the end of the season. Ball outside. 3-1 the count on Miller. Miller walked his last time up. That's the only walk that Angel Sandoval has issued so far in today's game. Swing on a 3-1 pitch. It's popped up on the right side of the infield. Playable for the pitcher. Sandoval makes the grab right down the first base line, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Titans in the 6th for the first time since the first inning. Sandoval on cruise control here. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 18-1, St. Francis. Sean Harper leads off the bottom of the 6th for St. Francis, an 18-1 lead over IUSB. Harper swings the first pitch and fouls it back for strike 1. Sean Harper's getting his first at bat. He came on as a pinch runner last inning after Anthony Farron tripled in a pair of runs. And he stayed in the game to play left field and now getting a chance in the batter's box. He swings and bounces it back to the pitcher's mound, gloved by Marty Ewing, who fires to first for the out. First time the Saints' leadoff man has been retired since the 3rd inning. That brings up Jake Lasota. Lasota started the game in left field. He's at first base now. 2 for 4 with a pair of singles and a couple of runs scored. Saints sent 28 batters to the plate in the last 2 innings. Lasota takes a ball inside. It's 1-0. Ewing is hoping for a little bit of an easier time of it here in the 6th. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. The count is even. And Indiana South Bend and their entire coaching staff just hoping that Ewing can get all the way through this 6th inning. Save another pitcher who can perhaps be used tomorrow. There's a little roller down the first base line, scooped up by Di Herrera, and he carries it quickly to the bag for out number 2. Nice play by Di Herrera on a softly hit ball, but one with some weird spin on it. 3 unassisted. And the batter is Jonathan Wolf. Wolf got the scoring started for St. Francis with a grand slam back in the 4th inning. Had 2 hits in the game, and now he's done as Zach Earls has come up as a pinch hitter. Zach Earls, backup catcher, coming on to bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Saints have been set down in order once today. That was back in the 3rd inning. And Marty Ewing trying to turn the trick for the 2nd time right here. Although it wasn't him last time around. It was starting pitcher Troy Cullen, who looked very good through 3 innings. He had allowed 3 hits, but they were all singles. One of them was an infield hit. And he had retired 5 in a row coming up to the start of the 4th inning, and suddenly everything fell apart. 6 consecutive men reached base to begin the inning against him. He was removed and didn't get any better against the bullpen. 1-0 on Earls. Ewing sets for the next offering. Popped up on the infield. Playable for whoever wants it. It's D. Herrera, the first baseman, near the pitcher's mound. He makes the grab and ends the inning. 1-2-3 go the Fighting Saints in the 6th. We head to the 7th, 18-1, St. Francis. Top of the 7th inning, St. Francis holds an 18-1 lead on Indiana University South Bend. Max Walls leads off the 7th, and he takes strike 1. Walls is 1 for 2. His RBI single back in the 4th inning gave the Titans a 1-0 lead. Things haven't gone quite so well ever since. There's a fly ball out to center field. Easily playable. Catch is made by Schultz for out number 1. 6 straight have been set down by Angel Sandoval, who's trying to finish off his 3rd complete game of the year. 9-inning game tonight, but based on the score, this should do it here in the 7th. Chase Cameron is the batter, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. He swings the first pitch and lofts it into shallow right field. Backing up is Peterson. Second baseman makes the catch, 2 away. 2 more games between these 2 teams tomorrow afternoon. First one starts at 1 o'clock. That'll be a 7-inning game. Second game starts right after the first, and that'll be a 9-inning game. Colin Mack is the last hope here for IUSB. 1 for 3 with a single. Ball down low. Sandoval back to the windup. Finds the zone this time. It's 1-1. It's been a nice game for Sandoval. It's kind of lost when your offense scores 18 runs, but the pitcher's been dominant. There's a fly ball out to center field, and Schultz is under it. He makes the catch, and there it is. The Fighting Saints able to finish off the 7th inning, and a big blowout victory over the Indiana University South Bend Titans. 18-1 is our final score. As they do the majority of the damage in the 4th inning, they do all of their damage in the 4th and 5th innings. 21 hits in the game for St. Francis, 18 runs. Again, all 18 runs scored in those 2 innings. and 18 of their 21 hits came in those 2 innings. So a fantastic performance today for the St. Francis offense, and in particular in those middle innings. I'll run over the scoring once again in just a moment, although I may speak in generalities at times because my scorecard became a little difficult to read sometime near the end of the 4th inning when they sent 17 men to the plate. St. Francis actually did trail in this game. South Bend took the lead in the top of the 4th inning on a 2-out RBI single from Max Walls. That made it 1-0. And then the Saints came to life in the 4th. A single for McGuire, a single for Farron, a bunt hit for Lasota, and then the grand slam for Jonathan Wolf made it 4-1. Saints never looked back from that point on. They got an RBI single from Schoonover, an RBI single from Dustin Krob, a 2-run double from Anthony Farron, RBI single from Adam Cebulka, another RBI hit for Bailey Schultz, all of that in the 4th inning. And then in the 5th inning, a 2-run triple for Anthony Farron, who finished the game with 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Adam Cebulka added another RBI base hit, as did Bailey Schultz, the second of the game for each of them. And Travis Schoonover had an RBI single to cap the scoring. That was his 3rd hit and 2nd RBI of the game. All in all, 3 hits for Schoonover, 2 RBIs, 2 hits for Krob and an RBI, 3 hits for Joe McGuire. Actually, 4 hits make that for Joe McGuire, and he had 2 runs scored. Anthony Farron had those 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Of course, Jonathan Wolf hit the grand slam. 2 RBI singles for Schultz. Cebulka had 3 hits and a pair of RBIs as well. Everybody in the lineup reached base at least twice today for St. Francis. And as I was just saying at the end of the game, lost in a crazy offensive performance like this is the fact that the pitcher was pretty darn good as well. A complete game victory for Angel Sandoval today as he improves his record to 1-3 for the season, his 3rd complete game of the year. Sandoval went 7 innings. He allowed 1 run on 6 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts in a dominant victory. The losing pitcher today is Troy Cullen. He falls to 0-5. Pitched really well for 3 innings. And then in the 4th, did not pitch as well. 3 1/3 total, 8 runs allowed on 10 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Final score, St. Francis 18, Indiana South Bend 1. We're back at it tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. Central start time, a doubleheader. 7-inning game 1, 9-inning game 2. I'll be here. Hopefully you will as well as we take in another baseball game from Joliet through the St. Francis YouTube page, and as always through GoFightingSaints.com and St. Francis Fighting Saints on Facebook as well. Until tomorrow, following an 18-1 St. Francis victory, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night, all.